Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back with another live show as usual at the same time every day. Now, a lot has happened today. We've announced our third signing officially. Arsenal have announced that, and we'll also be talking about the latest updates on Viktor Yokarez, the latest on Ez, the latest on Madueke. We also have an update on Vieira. Maybe he's found a team to go to. Will we sell him? Will we loan him out? We'll be talking about all that, and also Rodrigo. Fabio has given us an update on Rodrigo. So let's get started with the new signing that we've announced today, and that is Nogurt. So Arsenal made it official today. Arsenal have completed the signing of Cristhian Nogurt from Brentford. Welcome to the Arsenal, Cristhian. David Onson obviously confirmed a couple of days ago that you're going to pay only 10 million for him, plus 2 million in bonuses. So that is a very, very cheap deal. Premier League experienced. He was Brentford's captain. I'm very interested to see how he's going to fit in at Arsenal. Will he be, just a backup for Zubimendi? Will he be starting games next to Zubimendi? Will he be just, coming off the bench, when the game is done, or if you're leading, just for Zubimendi or Declan Rice to rest? How are we going to use Nørgaard? I'm sure he's going to start a few games here and there. So I'm really looking forward to how he's going to fit in, because he's not expensive at all. 31 years of age. Only 10 million from a Premier League team. First time for him playing in the Champions League, as he confirmed himself. So let's see how it goes. So not an expensive deal at all compared to what we paid for Zubimendi, 55 million for Zubimendi, and only 10 million plus 2 million for Nogurt. So we've completely changed our midfield from Partey and Jorginho to Nogurt and Zubimendi. So let's see how that one works out. Cheap deal. We've gotten it done finally. We had here we go like a week or two ago. So that one is already done. Now, this is what Nørgaard has had to say. I've just turned 31 and had signed a new deal with Brentford. Of course, there's always a little chance that a miracle could happen with Brentford, but it was probably unrealistic to play Champions League with them. Now, I get to hear the anthem and be part of a Champions League campaign. It's a childhood dream and something I didn't think would be possible. So it's something I'm really, really happy about. You can get almost emotional because maybe it was a dream that I've given a little bit up on coming towards the later stage in my career. So first time for him playing Champions League football. There's a lot of players who have never played like Champions League football at that age, but it's very it's somehow rare. Maybe you'll find someone, an international player like him and a captain like him. You'll find maybe he's played for like a Genk or a Club Brugge somewhere, but this is actually going to be his first time. So in terms of European football, he's still new, but in terms of Premier League experience, he definitely has it. Arteta said that we are delighted to welcome Cristhian Nogurt to Arsenal. He's an international player with a wealth of experience of the Premier League. He's been there for 5 years. For 4 years. He has proven leadership skills and a strong character, which will be invaluable to our squad. He's a strong midfielder with excellent tactical awareness and versatility. He also has a physical presence and intelligence, which will give added depth and balance. Cristhian will bring a lot to the group, both on and off the pitch. We're excited to start with him in this next chapter of his career. We welcome Cristhian and his family to Arsenal. So high praises from Arteta for Cristhian Nørgaard. Again, we don't know how he's going to fit in at Arsenal right away. Let's see. Luckily, he's going to be there for preseason, so let's see how he's going to be used. And obviously, we are hoping that Zubimendi adapts quickly. So if Zubimendi struggles to adapt in the first 1 month in those tougher games, could Nogurt be the one starting? Because he's played against these teams a lot of times as well. And he will be wearing the number 16, by the way. So that's our new number 16 at Arsenal. I can't remember who our last number 16 was. Does any of you know who our last number 16 was? I can't even remember that. I'm not that good with such numbers, 16, 18, 20. I don't remember, but someone I would remember in the chat. This is what Bata had to say about it, and that was Nogurt when he signed for us. And then Bata said, we are very pleased to welcome Cristhian Nogurt to the club. He has been a consistent high performer in the Premier League, and he brings many qualities to our club. He's a leader and a player with high tactical intelligence and versatility. So use the same words, intelligence like I used, who will have a very positive impact on the squad. We welcome Cristhian to Arsenal. So it's definitely going to bring some leadership. Let's see how it's going to work out for him. Number 16 for him. How many years is he? I'm not sure how many years he signed for Arsenal, how long the deal will be, but you'd expect at least him to be here for like the next 2 years, at least for the next 2 years. So hopefully it turns out to be a good signing, because in terms of wages, we are saving a lot of money from Partey to Nogurt. Thank you, Nanbur and Fatah, yeah, you're right. It was Rob Holding. Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, it was Rob Holding and Demide. So, told you there's always people in the chat who know. So, thank you, Nanbur and Daleko and Demide. So, all of those guys remembered Holding. Let me tell you, I would never have remembered Holding was wearing number 16. Like, I've not even seen Holding playing football in like 2 years. He left Arsenal and didn't play for Crystal Palace for like a full year or two. So we're not used to. Did Ramsey wear the number 16 as well? I can't even remember that. So let's. That is Nogurt. He's joined Arsenal, so that is a done deal. But obviously, we are waiting to hear who's going to be next up. So that is 3 deals done. Kepa done. Zubimendi done. Zubimendi was the second one to be announced, and then third one, Nørgaard. So I think our midfield for now is okay. Merino, Rice, Nørgaard, Zubimendi. I don't think we need to worry about the midfield anymore. But one position we definitely need to worry about is up front there. We definitely need to worry about the forward players. So what's the latest on that? So according to John Cross of the Mirror, let's talk about Gyokeres. Sporting imposed a cooling off period over talks with Arsenal and Viktor Yokarez after reaching a stalemate. However, the Portuguese side are now ready to resume serious negotiations within the next 48 hours. So it cooled down a bit. As someone mentioned yesterday in the comments, there's a day we didn't hear anything about Yokarez at all. But we already know Yokarez is still pushing for the move. Obviously, Arsenal are going to try and drop that price even more, and Sporting are going to, hold on to the valuation of their player. Arsenal are never just going to, the way we want it, Arsenal are never going to do it like that. Most of Arsenal fans just say, just go and pay the money. Arsenal are not going to do that. I already knew Arsenal are not going to do that. The starting price started like at 80 million, and now Arsenal want to pay like 56 million plus add-ons. And the gap, the reason I'm confident with this one is because the gap is not too much. Arsenal want to pay a total package of 65 million, and Sporting want like a total package of like 75 million. So that is a less than 10 million gap. So surely we are not going to shift our focus to a different direction just because of 5 million to 10 million. And the player really wants to join Arsenal, and the player has already given up his own money to join Arsenal, and obviously he's already told them he's not going to play for them. Sporting players are back in training, but Gyokeres is not back there, so he's definitely not going to go back there. And the fact that we are the only team that is currently trying to sign him right now, I'm still 90% confident we're going to get it done. So I'm still surprising because on Monday, or was it Sunday or Monday, Fabrizio and the likes of Arsenal, they told us like, this Gyokeres deal is pretty much almost done. Like even Fabrizio confirmed himself, like, I'm going to give you guys a here we go very soon. But looking like Sporting are still, holding firm on this one. They're like, nope, we're not going to give you for less than what we want. You have to pay the money. So it helps when the player pushes for the move. So we might, I do think at the end of it, we are going to end up paying like 68 to 70 million, not the 65 million that we are offering them, unless they agree on the fee that we're currently offering them, but Arsenal agreed to pay more upfront and then bonuses later. So at the moment, I think they wanted to pay like the 65 million package. I don't know how much they wanted to pay first and then add-ons. So depending, if Arsenal want to pay more at the beginning, maybe Sporting can accept that without changing the total package from 65. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy deal. I wish it was an easy deal for us to do, because that is the position that we really need. And we usually see a team like Man City wanting Haaland, and then the next day Haaland is wearing a Man City shirt. But yeah, we know Arsenal don't work like that. And and it's not even just Andrea. Again, let Andrea Bata work the way he wants to work. I'm not going to say anything about him until the end of the transfer window. As long as before preseason, Gyokeres is lining up with the team. That is all I care about. So it's 10th of July today. As long as by, I think it was 22nd, 23rd, we are playing. Before then, hopefully Gyokeres is part of the training. I would have liked him to be part of the training right now, because most of our players are back now. I know the likes of Saka and Odegaard, all of them are back in training, plus Zubimendi and Kepa. Nogurt will be joining the training as well. I would have loved Gyokeres to be part of that as well. But let's hope we don't go past this week, because today is Thursday. Let's hope we don't go past this week in terms of the Gyokeres deal. Likely, there's no other team that is going in for him at the moment. I don't think there's any other team that is going to come in for him, because he's basically confirmed he's going to join Arsenal. So that is the best thing about that. John Cross also said, while there's a huge optimism that Viktor Yokarez move to Arsenal will be complete, the biggest obstacle is that Sporting president, man, this Sporting president is he is not backing down, man. Fair play to him. Federico Varandas is adamant that there is no gentleman's agreement, and they're determined to stand firm on the price. Now, to be honest, if I was also working as the sporting president, there is no chance I would let Gyokeres go for 65 million, 56 million pounds. No chance. I'd be wanting 80 million or something if I was the sporting president. So it's not easy. That doesn't matter how many goals he scored in Portugal. As long as he can score that number of goals and on top of that, get you assists. I absolutely love strikers who can get you goals and assists. Both of them. There's strikers who are going to get you 40 goals and 1 assist. I would prefer the one that gets you 35 goals and 5 assists. That is even perfect. So 40 goals and 5 assists on top of that, that is great. And Yokarez will get you that. So I would not personally let him go for 56 million, anything like that. Not at all. And knowing that Arsenal really need a striker, why should Sporting move? Because they know Arsenal is the one that is desperate. As Arsenal are the ones that are desperate. Why should we move? Why should we, let him go for cheap? You're the one who needs a striker. So come and pay us the 70 million plus that we need, or else you're not going to give you the player. Simple as that. So it doesn't matter really what Gyokeres says, doesn't matter all that. He's still contracted to Sporting, so he doesn't have to sell him at all. And he can just hold firm. So I think he's doing the right thing. I don't think Gyokeres should be 56 million anyway. He's going to his prime. He's 27 years of age, man. Like for the next 3 or 4 years, if he continues on this form, he could be, scoring 30, 40 goals in the Premier League and Champions League for us. So why would they let them go that easily? Or maybe Sporting also waiting to see if there's any other team that comes in for him, maybe. But I doubt there's any team that is going to come in for him because this is basically so advanced, as Fabrizio has already confirmed. And as long as he has said it's so close to a here we go, I doubt something is going to go crazy. So it's all about the money. So hopefully we get it done this week. I think we have another update on Gyokeres. No, it's not York. The next one is Ez. So that is the latest on Gyokeres from John Cross. So let's hope that, I think it was Hand of Arsenal. Hand of Arsenal said something about Gyokeres as well. So he said club to club talks are continuing, but that is where the disagreement is. Everything else is basically done. Arsenal already agreed personal terms with Gyokeres and all that. It's all about the money. Sporting want to sell him, so it's all about the money. So Sporting themselves also would want to rush a bit in the next few days because they also need to find a replacement and all that. So let's see how it goes though. So no breakthrough with the Gyokeres fee yet, but let's hope it happens. So it doesn't take too long. I don't think this one is going to be like the Declan Rice one where we make a bid of 80 million first and then 85 million and then 92 million and then 105 million. No, I don't think it's going to be that. It's just going to be they've agreed on a fee. That is it. And then we are going to get the here we go. So I'm still 90% confident Gyokeres is going to be an Arsenal player. So let's see how it goes. But am I confident Ez is also going to be an Arsenal player? Now I'm 90% confident with Gyokeres, but I'm 60% confident with Eze because of everything else that is going on. And also for Eze, it's different from Gyokeres because Gyokeres, we're the only team that is going for him. And Eze, I don't think you're going to be the only team that is going for him. Now Tottenham are out of the picture because they've signed Kudus, but you've also been hearing stuff like Liverpool have also liked Eze before, so you never know what is going to happen. But maybe the reason I'm 60% confident is because he also played for Arsenal and he might want to stay in London and all that. So he's also already said he wants to join Arsenal. So that is great as well. But you never know. If Arsenal don't pay the money for him and any other team comes in for him, he could go. So for Gyokeres, he said, I don't want to go anywhere else apart from Arsenal. For Ez, he's not say that. He might say, I want to join Arsenal, but if Arsenal don't come in for him, by force, he could easily say, okay, or should I wait? Let me just go to a different team. Now, let's talk about Eze. Ed Aaron says Arsenal are expected to step up their attempts to sign Eberechi Ez. Arsenal are planning to make contact with Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish to discuss a potential move, although he is unlikely to consider any offers below the 67.5 million release clause. So again, just like Gyokeres, if I was the owner of Crystal Palace and the chairman of Crystal Palace, why would you let your best player go for 40 million plus add-ons or something? No, this is a Premier League experienced player. Is a player who gets you guaranteed goals and assists, double figures in both of those aspects, goals and assists. And he's a player who's you definitely know is going to improve Arsenal right away. So many different ways, man. He can play as a left wing, he can play as a 10, he can play as an 8. He will help us rest Odegaard. He can bring competition for Odegaard. They can play both of them on the pitch at the same time. He's such a good player, man. Like Ez would be such a top-notch signing, man. This is the kind of signing if you get next to Gyokeres, you can go ahead and get Madueke if you want. So these two particular players would be top notch. And luckily, they've said the Eze deal is not connected to the Madueke deal. So if we get Madueke, it doesn't matter. Eze is still a possibility. But obviously, we all know Arsenal. We are not going to pay that 67.5 million right away. We are going to, try and give them, hey, can we give you 50 million plus 10? And then you're going to move maybe to 55 million total package or something. It's not going to be 65.5 million. But we also told by Timmins and Ticks 2 weeks ago that this deal, Crystal Palace would be happy to receive it in 3 installments. So 20, 20, 20, and then 7.5 million in add-ons. So if that is the case, I think Arsenal would go for him. If that is the case, we definitely should go for him. So in installments, there's no ifs, buts, and maybes. Should go for him right away. So that is what Ed Aarons has said. Arsenal are expected to step up their attempts to sign Eberechi Ez. So I'm assuming it's not easy to just get all the deals done at the same time for Andrea Bata. I'm sure it's not as easy as we expect it to be. Sign Gyokeres today, sign Ez tomorrow, and still talk to Mosquera today as well, and still try and give Noni a new contract today. Obviously, things have to go a little bit day by day. But again, they have to decide which one is more urgent and which one which one you're more desperate for. So if they feel like Ez is not going anywhere else at the moment, and they can come back for him next week, well and good. As long as I'd be very, very happy to see both Yokarez and Ez there before those preseason games. That would be absolutely exciting. And then after that, I can give you guys time to try and sign Rodrygo. Now, the Eze deal, there's another update, I think, from Ben Jacobs. He says Arsenal expected to approach Crystal Palace to formally discuss Eberechi Ez. Palace attacker will still high in Arsenal's thinking as revealed. If it follows positive talks with the players' camp, Eze separate to Madueke talks. This is a lot of money. Some of them are going to be installments. So yeah, like Zubimendi, it's installments, so you're not going to pay everything right now. But that is a lot of money. 55 million for Madueke, 50 million for Madueke, 55 million for Zubimendi. We're talking about 60 million for Gyokeres. If you're going to go for Eze as well, that is 60 plus million. If you're trying to sign Rodrigo as well, that will be 70 million. And then if you put all the others together, Kepa, Nørgaard, and all these other guys, Mosquera, all of that will be more than 40 million as well. Like, that is a lot. That will be like close to 300 million. Can we actually spend that kind of money in one transfer window? I mean, I remember over the last 2 seasons, we've been told we have enough money. That is the truth, because we did not buy anyone in January. And last season, we got Sterling for free. We got Neto for free. We only paid 20-something million for Merino. Calafiori was the expensive one. But considering we also sold Ramsdale, we sold Smith Rowe, we sold Nketiah. We are now getting money for players like Tavares as well. We might be able to sell Lokonga. Zinchenko has been linked to the move away. Kiwi has been linked to the move away. Martinelli has been linked to the move away. Same with Trossard. Is it going to be a situation where we're actually going to sell a couple of players that we're not expecting to sell just to get all of these players that we need? I'm sure almost everyone will say just keep Martinelli and let Madueke stay at Chelsea. I think Noni will stay at Arsenal. But if you're able to pull all of these deals, I don't think Martinelli will be an Arsenal player. Seriously, if we sign both Madueke and still try to sign Rodrigo, I don't think Martinelli will be an Arsenal player, despite him wanting to stay at Arsenal. Now, the thing with Martinelli as well is that he doesn't really want to go to Saudi Arabia. So is there any other team that is going to come and give us 60 million plus for Martinelli? I don't think so. So we could be forced to keep Martinelli at Arsenal, even if we don't want to. Although we've been told that Arsenal want to keep Martinelli. I want to keep Martinelli. But I don't think we can predict. I think there could be a surprise. You see, the way the Tomiyasu deal came out of nowhere, we were just told Tomiyasu has gone out of nowhere. I feel like something is going to happen from these players. You never know. You could even hear Ben White. You just never know what happens. You could even hear tomorrow Ben White is leaving out of nowhere. So you just never know this transfer thing. So Kivio most likely, Martinelli, Trossard, those are the ones that I feel like could be sold, and also Zinchenko, obviously. But you never know with players like Ben White and players like that. You never know what is going to happen. They could, out of nowhere, be sold. So let's see what happens. Although Ben White is I'm not even considering selling someone like a Ben White. 100% must keep. But I'm just saying what might happen. Now, speaking of Madueke, yes, guys, we have to speak about Madueke because he's probably going to be an Arsenal player in the next few days. So what's the latest about him? So Tinis and Tick says it is believed that Arsenal's bid for Noni Madueke yesterday was worth an initial 40 million with a 10 million add-ons. So the 50 million package that Fabrizio told us, it's not 50 million right away. It's 40 million and then 10 million in add-ons. Now, still very expensive for me. Although if it was 30 million, maybe, but 40 million plus 10 million in add-ons, still a lot of money. Now, will Chelsea, I said yesterday that I expect Chelsea to accept that, but because it is 40 million plus 10 million in add-ons, they might not. They might want 50 million right now plus 10 million in add-ons. Now, will Arsenal get to 60 million? Probably not. So there's still a chance that Madueke is not going to be an Arsenal player unless Chelsea accept what we've given them right now. But if Chelsea reject what we've given them right now, then it's going to be a 50-50 because you just know, especially with what you're going to talk about next, Rodrygo, and also forgot you could actually sell Vieira as well when I was mentioning all of those players. We'll talk about those two guys. With what you're going to be speaking about Rodrygo next, maybe Arsenal thought Rodrygo would not be available, and they're just like, you know what? No, you're not going to go for Rodrygo. You're not going to wait. Let's just go for Madueke. Now that Rodrygo is going to become available, are they going to decide, you know what? Just wait on Madueke. Let's try and get Rodrygo, because they've been told they're not going for Gordon and Lookman because these guys are going to cost like 70 million, and Madueke is going to cost 50 million. Now, do I think I rather add that 15 million for Lookman? Yes, I would rather add that 50 million for Lookman. I would rather go for a player like players from Brighton, Adingra for 20 million. I'd rather do that for a backup player, but it depends. Especially not the one thing that is even annoying me the most, apart from the price, is the left winger thing. I do not want Madueke as a left winger. He's not a good left winger. He plays as a right winger. The times I've seen him as a left winger, no, and that is not what I'm looking for a left winger. I'm looking for players like Neymar, those kind of players at left wing. Players like Robert Pires, players that we had on that, someone who can dribble, left foot, right foot. Players like Rafa Leao, pace, can go past 5 players, and cut into his right foot, as they would do that if he's playing on the left side a few times. Players like Lookman, players like that. So Madueke is now left foot. Unless we want to change everything again and now have a left foot on the left side, I've never really been a fan of left footers on the left side. There's very few players who are left-footed playing on the left wing that have impressed me over the years. It's always the right-footed ones that are very good, the ones that can cut in and cross the ball, shoot the ball. So let's see how it goes with Madueke. There's no guarantee that we're going to sign him unless Chelsea accept what we've given them right now. Now, Jordan Davis spoke about the mentality of Madueke. He says that the Sun has been... the Sunspot have been told, despite reported doubts, the player has a top mentality and is desperate to play with and against the best at the highest level, and would relish the chance to fight for a starting spot at Arsenal. So the mentality thing is because of what has been happening at Chelsea. They always talk about Jackson and players like Madueke using social media all the time. Even after losing, they go and post a picture after an hour, like without caring that they've just lost 4-0. That is what they're speaking about. Now, I've always thought that Arteta doesn't like those kind of players. That's why I'm surprised to hear that Arteta said yes, because we've always been told that Arteta doesn't like those kind of players like Osimhen, players who are not going to do something that the manager is not happy about. And that is why we were told Osimhen is not going to come to Arsenal, because his ego is going to be too big for Arteta. That's what they've told us, because the way we sold Ozil and Aubameyang, they couldn't get along with Arteta, so we were told Osimhen is not going to go get along with Arteta. There's still people saying, will Gyokeres get along with Arteta because he's a big ego player as well, who's going to want to play every single game and all that. We're waiting to see. Now, Madueke could be one of those players as well, because last season he was left out of the squad twice by Maresca. He did not play once because he was not training well, so that is a problem as well. I've always thought that does not like players who are not training hard enough. So that is another worry I have. Is he going to really fit at Arsenal with that? Unless he just comes to Arsenal and completely changes, as they've said, he still has top mentality. That would be very interesting, because, and there's another second game that he didn't play because they said he just didn't fit into the system. So that is always a concern. And the problem is 55 million, 50 million. That is too much of a risk when you're not sure about the player's ability on the pitch, and you're also not sure about his mentality off the pitch. That is a huge risk, man. Like, if you sign Madueke for 50 million, my goodness, people will be criticizing every single minute that is on the pitch. Now, are we actually going to end up signing Madueke or not? So, because this is what Fabrizio has reported on Rodrygo today. Direct meeting for Rodrygo's future will take place next week, as Real Madrid are open to letting him leave. So we've gotten the answer that we've been waiting for. Madrid are happy to sell Rodrygo. Real will leave the final decision to the Brazilian. Surely you have to leave. He's not played 5 games in a row. Yesterday he did not come on at all. He had to sit on the bench and watch PSG demolish them. The manager did not even look to his side for him to even ask him to warm up. He just didn't come on at all. There are other play youngsters like Gonzalo and those guys. Rodrygo does not play at all. And I wrote it somewhere here when we first talked about Rodrygo in terms of, the minutes. Last season he did not feature enough for them at all. And for a player like Rodrygo, who, if he was an Arsenal player, he would definitely be playing a lot. But because during his time at Real Madrid, he's not really being considered. So for Rodrygo, last season, he played in La Liga, he played 90 minutes only 6 times. So the rest, he was either getting subbed off before the 60th minute or he was just on the bench. So just 6 times 90 minutes, that is crazy for a player like Rodrygo. And then he still managed to play 51 games, a lot of them off the bench, a lot of them just 50, 60 minutes getting subbed off. But he still managed to contribute 24 goal contributions. So those are great numbers, but he does not play a lot for them. And now that player like Gonzalo Garcia has emerged, and Ademola will probably play more this season. I thought Hendry could play more as well, but he won't. But they've also signed another player. Surely he's not going to stay there. Even if he's not joining Arsenal, if I was a Rodrygo agent, I'd be telling him, do not stay there. There's a World Cup coming up. You're not going to play. Players like Rafinha and Vinicius are already ahead of you. Even right now, Martinelli is ahead of him in Brazil, and Ancelotti is the coach that has been letting him sit on the bench at Real Madrid. So I don't know why I would want to stay there. Now, we are not going to have any battle from Saudi Arabia because Al Nassr, Fabrizio said Rodrygo won't join Al Nassr, never a topic or even a negotiation, despite reports. Full focus on Europe. So not just England, it's Europe, and Rodrygo is wanted by Arsenal. I've seen some few people mentioning Liverpool, maybe as a left wing at Liverpool. If Diaz leaves, I feel like Man City are definitely going to come in for him if Rodrygo becomes 100% available. And then there's teams like PSG and Bayern Munich. Now, PSG, there's so many attackers, like even Bakola has to sit on the bench. Although if Rodrygo joins there, there's still a lot of rotation though. If you want to play a lot of 90 minutes, you're not going to play that at PSG. Bayern Munich as well, they still have Coman and players like that. You're not going to play 90 minutes all the time. Man City, maybe because the likes of Grealish are leaving. Liverpool, maybe. So I would say if I was his agent, I'd tell him go to England, go to Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City. So it's up to him. For me as an Arsenal fan, I want him to join Arsenal. For me as an Arsenal fan, I would not want him to join Liverpool and Man City because we start imagining Rodrygo, Vats, and Salah. That is not a good sight with all those 3 at Liverpool and also at Man City with Shaq and all these other guys. We don't want it to be like that. So if he decides to come to England, let's hope it is going to be Arsenal. But we've already bid 50 million for Madueke. Is there any way that we could also pay 60, 70 million for Gyokeres and still pay 60 million for Ez, 67 million for Ez, and still pay like 70 million for Rodrygo? That is a lot of money. So I personally don't feel like that is going to happen. The Madueke deal will not affect Ez. The Madueke deal will not affect Gyokeres. But I feel like the Madueke deal, if it goes through, it will definitely affect Rodrygo. And it will really affect us fans as well, especially if we give that money to Chelsea and then Chelsea end up buying Rodrygo. Then that is another case as well. So imagine if we give Chelsea 55 million and then they go and use that 55 million to buy Rodrygo. That will be so disgusting, man. So disgusting. But it's also a possibility. So again, Chelsea are in the Champions League, so that is also a possibility. All of those teams I've mentioned are in the Champions League, so it's not like a Man United or anything. He can join any of those teams if he wants, and there's no guarantee that Rodrygo just wants Arsenal. We know Gyokeres wants just Arsenal. Ez wants Arsenal. We know Mosquera wants Arsenal, but we don't know if a player like Rodrygo just wants Arsenal. So there's no guarantee. So that is what has happened today. That's the latest on the players who might join Arsenal. But we've not talked about Vieira. Now, Parma have asked for information about Fabio Vieira. So we were told that Arsenal do not want to keep Fabio Vieira, and we were also told that Vieira is not that keen on staying. And the fact that, Nørgaard is probably going to stay, and even him is concerned about game time, and Odegaard is definitely going to start games still. there's a player like Sesko's playing on the right side. If we keep Trossard or Martinelli, one of them can play on the right side. And then we're being linked with players like Eze and Madueke on top of that. There's no spot there for Vieira to play. Now, Arsenal say they don't want to loan him as well, so we have to sell him. But how much are you going to get for him? Because we paid like 35 million for him. That was that deal did not work. That definitely did not work. Although he helped us win that Community Shield and a few good games here and there, but that was it. And FC Porto didn't have enough money to buy him. Now, why do Parma want him? So, as confirmed here by Daily FC, as he's pointed it out, remember Carlos Cuesta, Arteta's assistant, who was just moved to Parma to become the coach there? He's now the coach of Parma, so maybe he's the one that wants Fabio Vieira. So the possibility of that happening is high because Carlos Cuesta has worked with Fabio Vieira before at Arsenal. Just recently, just left Arsenal. So if Fabio Vieira had a good relationship with him, if Carlos Cuesta liked him as a player, but Arteta did not like him as a player, maybe he's just going to go there. But it depends also on the fee, or Arsenal going to let him go there easily just because we have a good relationship with Carlos Cuesta could also be a possibility. Or as well, could we let him go there on loan because Arteta, trusts Carlos Cuesta, who was his former assistant manager, to, try and develop him, and then hopefully after that, if we can sell him for more than what we expect to sell him right now, that is also a possibility. But let's see how that one goes. But yeah, there's a big chance Fabio Vieira could go there because our former assistant manager has just gone there. So that is all the latest. There's a lot of players who could still leave Arsenal. Could be more than 15 by the end of the transfer window. So hopefully Nørgaard is not part of that. And ideally, I'd also not like players like Martinelli to be part of that. So let's see what happens. So let me see your comments, but that's the latest. Scroll up. The breaking news is Fabrizio confirming that Rodrigo, Madrid are happy to sell Rodrigo. Let's see. Good afternoon to you, Anu. How are you doing? Okay, thank you guys for always being here. Appreciate it. Creo, big up to you. It's my first time joining your podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I never ask people to subscribe and like. Maybe I should be doing that more often. I never actually do that. But yeah, if you're new, I have this nice graphic here as well. I never use it. So if you want to like the videos, if you're enjoying the videos every single day, and if you want to subscribe, I appreciate it as well. Otuke says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too. We're also on Facebook, by the way. I think you're close to 50,000 on Facebook. So if you're watching on a different platform, you can follow on Facebook too. I've talked about Gyokeres. I've talked about that one. Good one for squad debt, says Nedison. Barton Arsenal is being stubborn to pay 5 million more for a prolific striker, but can waste money on Madewot. Okay, interesting. Clear. I'm tired. By the way, I do not condone the abuse that Madueke has gotten online, because people have really, really abused Madueke online. It's not his fault that he's going to join Arsenal, that is something we should be talking to Arsenal about, not Madueke. Of course, for him, joining Arsenal will probably be a dream, and why should I not go and play with Saka and Odegaard? And the fact that he's going to end up being an Arsenal player, I think it starts off the relationship on such a bad note, but obviously still needs to prove himself for sure. My fingers are crossed for Yokarez, says Bernard. Good afternoon from Liberia, says Trocon. Good afternoon to you. Siwaji says, should we contribute money for Arsenal? I wish we could. I think even if you had to contribute money to Arsenal, they'd still not pay that money. They would keep it for something else and then take time with the other deals. Sporting should let this guy get his wishes. Next 36 hours will be vital. Yeah, I think it has to be done this week. I don't think it's not going to allow it to carry until next week, because players are back in training, so there's not too much time. And that is the position that we need first. So the first two positions that we needed were strike and left wing, and Prison is starting, and we've not gotten those ones yet. Basically, what we've done so far is to replace players. Partey has gone, Zubimendi has come, Jorginho has gone, Nogurt has come. So we haven't really added players to and Neto has gone, Kepa has joined. So we haven't really added any players to our team. We've just replaced. So still... we are still not in a good state yet. Eze is an Arsenal boy, is a good personal term, says Babu. I don't think Martinelli will leave. Hopefully not, but it depends. I feel like if we sign Madueke and you still want to sign Rodrygo, that becomes a huge possibility. If we end up keeping all of them and still signing all of these players, then it means we really had enough money for this transfer window. I think we can get Eze and the big attacker, then we'll become a thorn in EPL, says Edison. Yeah, if we get Gyokeres and Eze, already a much better team than what we were, but I'd still want a winger though. It's Rodrygo or Eze and Madueke, says John. For me, I feel like I feel like it's Eze and I feel like it's Rodrygo or Madueke and Eze. That is how I feel. So I feel like Eze has a big chance of joining Arsenal, but Madueke and Rodrygo. Madueke is not 100% confirmed unless Chelsea accept the money. If they accept the money, then it kind of becomes that, John. It becomes then we are only going to get one of the other two. Read that one, Tamina. John says, an unpopular opinion, I think Rodrigo is better than Vinicius. Interesting. I do feel like Vinicius has proved himself more, but Rodrigo is still a very, very good player for sure. I'm not a very, very big fan of Vinicius, actually. I'm not including him in my top 5 players or anything like that right now. No, I have a lot of other players that I like. Actually, if you were to ask me, I would even say I prefer Hakimi in terms of my team. If I had a team, I'd have someone like an Hakimi or Dumfries. I love fullbacks who can attack like that. I would prefer players like that. So I'd still need to see more from Vinicius. I didn't also agree with people saying he should have won the Ballon d'Or. I didn't feel like he should have. So yeah, I like your program, says Ademola. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Good evening to you, Douglas. I'm good. How are you, Hakim? How are you, Junior? Chelsea won't pay Rodrigo's wages. That is also true. But you never know. Maybe there could be some changes, especially if they win the Club World Cup. Jesus Christ. Hopefully they don't win that. PSG, please, PSG, we need a good 4-0 in that one. Imagine if Chelsea beat PSG after they've beaten everyone else 4-0 now. So if they win that, then you never know. They're going to get a lot of money for that competition. I think if you win it, you get more than 100 million. So you never know. But yeah, Chelsea do not usually want to go past 150,000 per week. Afternoon, brother. Thanks for your update. And we could be contributing to that, John, with the money that we're paying for Madueke. Any news on Jarell Hato? Douglas from Zambia? No, I don't think so. I think if we get Mosquera, there's no way we are also going to go for Jarell Hato. Because I personally expected us to sign. I wanted us to sign 5 players this transfer window. I expected Arsenal to sign 4 players, but it's looking like we're actually going to sign up to 8 players, which is crazy. We never signed that many players. So let's see how it goes. But if we sign Mosquera, I don't think we're also going to get hurt. So thank you for the spastic RK. I appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting the channel. Thank you very much for being a member as well. So that is the ways you can support the channel. Thank you. Maybe you can give this money to Arsenal. Who said we should contribute? There's someone who said we should be contributing money. Yeah, the comment that I just read about contributing money. Maybe I can start by sending this to Arsenal to pay for Gyokeres. Thank you, RK. Michael says, good evening, sir. How far is Rodrigo? Gyokeres has spoken about that one already. Tactical does not want Madueke at Arsenal. He's bringing the Twitter trend to YouTube. So I think many people will agree with you, Tactical. Although I put a poll. Let me see how many people have voted. If you're watching on a different platform, you can go on YouTube and vote on the poll. The poll was, how do you feel about Noni Madueke potentially joining Arsenal for 50 million? So the options were, number 1, I don't mind it. So you're okay with Madueke joining Arsenal. Number 2, I'll give him a chance. So you don't want to, cast him out or anything. You're going to wait to see how he's going to do at Arsenal first. Number 3, I'm just confused. So you just don't know what is going on. You don't understand why we're bringing Madueke. Or number 4, you're fuming. You do not want Madueke at Arsenal like Tactical. So I'm assuming Tactical would vote for number 4. But at the moment, Tactical, 35% have actually said they'll give him a chance first. And then 27% have said they're fuming, so not that far from giving him a chance. And then 21%, I'm just confused. And then 16%, I don't mind it. So in terms of people being happy about Madueke joining Arsenal, that is the least voted for. But there's a lot of people who are saying they'll give him a chance. And the second one, a lot of people are fuming. So yeah, I think it's I think if you had to interview every single Arsenal fan, Now again, there's different kind of fans. There's fans who are just happy with whoever we sign. There are fans who are just happy with new players. There's a point where I was like that as well. I mean, I think many people usually get excited with new signings. It's always great to get new signings. And then there's people who are just going to support whoever comes to Arsenal. The people who are believing in Andrea Berti, there's people who are believing in Arteta. Personally, for me, I like Arteta, as you guys know. I'm still going to give him next season, and because Andrea Berti is at Arsenal right now, I'm very confident in what Andrea Berti is going to do. So that's why I got into this transfer window more confident. But with the Madueke one, for me, I'd probably vote for. I'm just confused. I wouldn't say I like the deal. No, I'd be lying to you. And so yeah, I'd be leaning slightly towards fuming, especially if we pay that money and then Chelsea end up using that money. But I'm not going to vote for fuming right now because I said I'm going to wait to see what happens. If Arsenal still get Gyokeres and they still get players like Eze, that is fine. You can go and get Madueke if you want. But in the next 2 weeks, if we hear Arsenal are not able to get Eze because Madueke, we paid 50 million for Madueke and Chelsea are going to get Eze instead, then I'm going to change my vote to I'm fuming. So yeah, I've wanted this Here We Go for Yokarez for so long, says Martin. I'm watching live on Facebook. Your news updates always accurate. Thank you, Alhaji. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I have been hearing Robbie saying that 95% people don't want Madueke. I think many more people don't want Madueke, so that's what I do agree. Then what percent do we have for Rodrigo? I'm at for me, in terms of him joining Arsenal, I'd say there's a 20% chance Rodrigo joins Arsenal. In terms of asking people for their vote, I think many people would want Rodrigo ahead of the ones we'd be linked to. I'm an Arsenal fan in Gambia. My advice to Arsenal football club is there's no need for us to sign Madueke because Chelsea always gives us bad players and we shouldn't repeat the same mistakes, says Omar. It's so crazy. We've been doing it since 2006. The Gallas one did not work because we gave Chelsea Ashley Cole and Ashley Cole went there and he won an FA Cup, a Champions League and all that. And Gallas came to us. I think he had one good season, but we always remember when he was crying on the pitch as a captain. He was stripped off the captaincy. The Gallas one did not work. And then if you look at the others, Benayoun, I don't know if you signed him directly from Chelsea. I can't remember. I don't think so. He played for Liverpool as well, but Benayoun played for Arsenal. And then there's players like Petr Cech, we literally signed him after. Although I think if you're to rate the Chelsea players that have joined Arsenal, I think Cech will be in the top 3. I don't think Cech was as bad as the likes of Sterling because Cech still managed to win a Golden Glove. And at that point, we didn't have such a good defense. So Cech is a 50-50. I think if you have to ask fans, some people think he was good. Some people, he did make some good saves, but he did also make some few mistakes here and there. But then if you look at the ones that we've been signing since like 2017, man, not good, man. The Sterling one and Willian ones really stand out. Those ones, after once when they're gone, those ones were really bad. I guess why Martin 236? Which Martin? You're talking about Zubimendi or Martin Zubimendi? Oh, we have so many Gabriels and Martins these days, and Cristhians as well. If you sign Mosquera, you'll have like 2 or 3 Cristhians at Arsenal too. So I guess it just loves the number. So Zubimendi took the 36, and Nørgaard has taken the 16. I thought you're talking about Martin Odegaard. I was like, what? But yeah, I'm watching from Nigeria. What is going on about Gyokeres? Says Moses. We've spoken about that. Money. It's all about money. So Arsenal and Sporting will renegotiate over the next 48 hours. It's just making us angry each time to hear and read about a reject for like Madueke, says Charles, and we never learn from this mistake that we are just a dustbin for Chelsea's. Oh, that sounds so painful when we say that. Arsenal is just a dustbin for Chelsea. That doesn't feel good. Hey, bro, please, you don't need Noni at all. I feel bad when people talk about this guy. Yes, for Eze, Rodrygo, Yokarez, Martinelli, Zinchenko, Jesus out, says Pierre. Watch Madueke get announced. Here we go. Fan base meltdown. Then a few hours later, they will drop Yokarez. Here we go to count them. The masses, they know the business, huh? Yeah, they talk about the bid for Madueke, and then Nogurt gets announced the next day. It's business, I guess. It's business. I think the funny thing is the way our minds work. If you announce Gyokeres fast and then you announce Madueke after a couple of hours, people will focus more on the Gyokeres one. But if you announce Madueke fast, oh my goodness, it's going to be crazy. What's going on with Gyokeres Ez and Rodrygo? Spoken about all of those. Ali, I'm asking about Zubimendi. Yeah, I figured it out, Aaron. I guess he just likes that number. So, yeah. Lovemore says Gyokeres, please. Violet says Madueke. I'm just confused. You're not the only one who's confused. Again, the other thing that confused me is that you went and gave them 50 million right away. I thought you were going to start like from 35 million and then maybe go to 40 million and then maybe say, okay, we're not going to 50 million. We're going to go to a different target. We just went right away to 50 million one day after hearing you wanted Madueke. That is so crazy. Junior says Arsenal signed Rodrigo, not Madueke. Many people would agree with that. Hopefully doesn't affect these other deals, because we don't want Rodrigo to say he's available at the end of July and then we realize we can't sign him because we've already spent all that money on players like Madueke. But there's still a good chance that Madueke is going to be an Arsenal player. So that is just the case. So let's see how it goes. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let's do this same time tomorrow, but there'll be another video coming up as well, because there's a lot of news too. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.